It seems like Zelda is just all up in the news this week, so there's a lot to discuss. We are going to try and keep it spoiler-free, though, when we talk about Triforce Heroes, but this week on the show, why Zelda Triforce Heroes will test your best friend and worst friendships, possibly.
Yeah?
And that it's okay to go alone in Zelda Triforce Heroes. We're going to talk a little bit about single player. And I also want to ask you guys, do we really want Twilight Princess HD? There's been a lot of talk and speculation. Toys R Us exclusives for Amiibo, and how the exclusives are actually getting easier to find. I can still walk into Target and find them. The mysterious Nintendo mobile game draws near. Maybe we'll do some guesswork on that and more. So let's start with Zelda Triforce Heroes. Again, we're going to keep this spoiler-free to the best of our ability, because honestly, we want you to enjoy this as well. We're going to start from multiplayer angle. You were going to say something.
How do you even spoil that game? It's not like it's a story-based game. It's definitely, it's not an epic quest. It's a fun action multiplayer.
No,
game, right?
You're not finding like silly side missions or things like that.
Sure.
But there is a very silly tone to it all. That's really fun. This fashion angle, and that the Hytopia, at least the soundtrack when you're running around, sounds like France. Just very, very interesting. Everything's about fashion and things like
to me, it sort of evokes the town in Minish Cap a little bit. Like, I actually sort of feel that kind of weird whimsy that I think there was a slightly more serious tone in even Link Between Worlds, or even most Zelda games. And I don't feel like that's really here for this game. There isn't that really like major threat, that impending doom. It feels kind of like the DS Zeldas in that way, where it was sort of
a witch who's known for her fashion sense, for like being very well dressed and evil.
And it's not a coming of age quest. It's not like Link is here and he must rise to become a hero. It's like, hey everybody, we need your help. Come one, come all.
You fit the description.
Yeah. You've got sideburns. That's actually what they say.
Which is like it's a very goofy setup, and I think that really sets a tone for the way the whole game unfolds. And I went into this thinking this is going to play out kind of like Four Swords did, where the story is this like very loose charade for the fact that they really just want you to jump into the levels. And I was actually greeted with the reality that it's a little more than that. Like, they actually built the entire world around this story and this premise, which I really like. And that actually, that hook is what gets you into the gameplay, what basically makes you want to collect the outfits and all this stuff like that, is that the whole game is really about style. Which is
and the fashion has function. It's funny because they kind of joke that fashion is never finished, because you're constantly finding more and more outfits to use. And so we played in multiplayer, and I feel like I've done the most homework on the fashion front, because I have an outfit for almost every situation. But I feel like the game sort of it sort of attacks, at least to me, it attaches itself to your inner completionist a little bit. Because, like, do you want the outfits, or do you just want to push forward? You're not at a disadvantage for playing through in the hero's clothes. But if you have the Goron garb, it's kind of nice to swim in lava and not have to worry about that while you're trying to work with other people.
I like that this game has created the context in which I got to hear you say for the first time that I'm the person that's done the most fashion homework.
That's true.
That's not a usual
now at this table.
That's not a usual Jose Otero line to drop.
But the outfits also play into the kind of the quest-based nature of this game. I mean, it is the town is very much the hub, almost like in a game like Destiny, where you get these kind of side missions assigned to you. Only that every mission is a side mission. But when you come back and you talk to the king, he'll actually acknowledge what you did. He'll say, "Oh, you slew this boss, and you did this and this and this." And so there is this sense that you're working towards something. And then each mission, of course, has a standard way of finishing it, right? Like working together with your friends, or playing it single player, or like some of the side quests, right? Like you can...
Well, when you say side quests, you're talking about the additional challenges that you can check off that are essentially like, for example, finish this level with less hearts. So if you start with 8 heart containers, you only have 4. Fewer, excuse me. You also have protect the orb. You'll have
certain time
restrictions, and it's
only
interesting.
Use bombs.
There was one that said survive through the darkness, or through the dark, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, I wanted to try it, but I kind of got sidetracked.
So now these are all based on the 32 dungeons that are in this game.
32 levels, that's right, and each world ends with a token temple. Like, so you'll have a fire temple, a snow temple, a water temple, etc.
And it's basically every 4 stages.
Yeah, the 4th stage is always the one, and the 4th area is also where you're either fighting a boss or you're just fighting sort of an extreme challenge against enemies. I use extreme lightly. It's actually kind of easy.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like a boss event, right? Like it's either a big bad creature that you have to fight where he comes out and it has his name on the bottom, like you're playing Ocarina of Time or something like that. Or there's ones where it's just like you got to kill 25 waves of increasing enemies.
But killing those things with your friends online is what really shows off the emote system and how the emotes do work for communication to a degree. We basically played last night. I sent around text messages saying we're going to play in silence. We're not going to do a group hangout. Let's see how this works. And there were some debates.
Okay, so this
in the
is
middle of the emotes.
So this is where we're talking about, you know, the new Zelda game turning friends into enemies, right?
Yeah,
because I had moments where I didn't like either of you guys.
Oh, I didn't like you either. I don't like you either.
You'll be dead. Yeah, and the emotes just made it worse because you're an emote troll, Jose Otero.
Yeah, a lot of pom poms, a lot of thumbs up, a lot of no.
So you have these, what is it, like eight
tiles
at the bottom that are
Mm-hmm.
basically your only way of communicating with people when you're playing online. You're not sitting in the same room, and sometimes it works really well. Like, and it's actually really cool because I don't really see a lot of online games like this where you can kind of just be like, "Good job, nice work,
or
thumbs
over
up."
Here,
or over
and you
here.
see the bubble hanging over where you need to go. Yeah.
But there's also like there's one that's like, no! Or this like really puzzled, frustrated one where Link's just like that and there's this like curly scratch above his head.
That's my bad.
That's the my
I feel
bad.
like that's the my bad.
Oh,
my bad
for me, it was like, what the hell do you want me to do?
No.
Really? That's how I was treating it like
so
that.
It's funny because they replaced that tile, I feel, on the Japanese one. On the Japanese one, his hands are folded like a prayer, and it's almost like, I'm sorry, gomene.
Sorry.
Yeah, and the American one, he's shrugging like,
Well, because we don't have sorry in our vernacular in America.
It's over my burr, is basically.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
Somehow no doesn't express the frustration when Jose throws you on purpose into a fiery pit for the 5th time.
So wait,
Yes.
Yeah, so I was causing trouble, but I was causing trouble to kind of point out that you can't always control who you're playing with.
No.
And they are going to be unpredictable. So I was trying to be as unpredictable as possible with you both. Actually, in our first match, I quit the mission just to see what would happen because we knew at E3 it would kick us all out.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see what. And on your 3DS, Brian, you told me it said...
So your link popped up, you were the green one, and it said Jose, and it had your name, and it said, sorry, something came up. I gotta run.
Yeah,
and then
and
I'm like,
I gotta do something. Yeah.
So I start texting Jose. I'm like, where the hell are you? Did you go and play Destiny or something like
it's
that?
Like, if you did, I hate you so much.
I'm getting really
I
mad.
set up time for this. No, I just wanted to see what would happen. Actually, I wanted to change outfits at the start.
So we're the control group in this experience.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of things.
You did your job.
So that explains. So you weren't actually that bad at the puzzles. You were just testing us.
Yeah.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
we were disagreeing on some puzzles because you were, for example, at one point you were telling us to push a block a certain way.
Yeah.
And
you
me
guys
and
kept
Brian
on pulling on it. I'm like, are you guys?
Well, so this is what I realized, and I was talking to Jose about this morning, and it's really funny that they kind of based around this triangle, the Triforce, 3 players, 3 heroes. That's literally in the title. 3 people historically, narratively, never the best idea. Like, you get 3 people together, 2 gang up on 1, 3 people become isolated, they hate each other. There's always 2 against 1. It's very rare where 3 people are in perfect synchronicity.
Disprove this entirely.
Right.
Well,
right.
that was D'Artagnan was the 4th one.
Exactly.
They needed balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at the 3 Stooges. They were just constantly beating each other up.
What about the 3 Amigos?
3 Amigos, same thing. So I remember sitting back and going, okay, there's a feud happening here between Pear and Jose. Now I could step in and help Jose, but I know that Jose's pissed off right now. I can see it in his face, and I know that Pear is smiling. And I was sitting there. Now I'm playing the game in my living room next to my wife who's watching a TV show, and I'm laughing maniacally at my 3DS, which is not something you see very often, right? I don't usually look at my 3DS and start laughing hysterically, and I'm laughing maniacally. And she's sitting next to me, and she's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, my boss keeps throwing my coworker into the lava in the new Zelda game."
My favorite is like this Brian head just pops up with thumbs up.
Yeah, every time you threw him in, I was like, "Thumbs up, good work, good work."
No, and there was a time I threw you, and I think you did the same. You were turned coat, like you also turned to my side and cheered when I tossed Pear.
Every now and then. Well, it was whoever was.
Yeah, it was totally. He knows where to.
I think our most frustrating moment the entire time was the box by far. So there's a.
I really did not like you guys when we were pushing the box.
There's a fire stage. There's a fire stage where, in classic Zelda terminology, there's a big box, a big thing you have to drag, a big statue-shaped thing you have to drag around, and there's fire shooting out of the ground, so you have to pull this thing at the right time so the fire doesn't hit you. Now, you all share health. Yeah, and when you get hit with the fire, your ass lights up, jumps up in the air.
And you run super fast.
And you run around. It's like,
you can then fall off the platform on top of that.
So, without us being able to yell at each other, all right, let's all get at the bottom of this box, you see Jose run to one side, and Per and I are like, no, that's the wrong side. So we run to the other side, and which doesn't work, because then you have one person pulling on one side, two people pulling on the other. You need all three.
I would not move, because I was going to bend you guys to my will.
You were so stubborn, and you're jamming come over here, and we're like, no, you come over here.
Again, this was all for science.
Yes.
So
I kept on like saying like no, and then going to where the box should move, and going with the sword like.
I think I picked you up and threw you off.
And then you threw me off.
It felt like training a dog, where you're just like, nope, that's bad. Go over here.
But then, in an interesting twist, Per spotted a chest that was higher up, and he wanted to use the box to get to it, and you and I didn't see it, so we wanted to just push it so we can solve the puzzle. He wanted to push it so we can get the rupees. Also, Per was the most annoying Zelda player because he has this bad habit of picking you up and throwing you where he wants you to be. And the thing is, in this game, it makes me laugh to no end that your will to move can be taken away at a moment's notice by someone else. So Per will like pick you up and just take you towards an enemy, and you have to put together in the next 2 seconds, start swinging your sword, or you're going to hit that enemy.
All of a sudden he's like, hey, I need you, and you're like, wait, what? And you get scooped up in the air, and it's just like, you better hit that thing. Oh.
Well, that's the problem.
But the limited communication adds to a lot of the hilarity. I feel like when we played locally, we still had some of it, but there was something funnier about the emotes being the only way to express themselves.
Because you're so powerless. Like, you have to trust that what the other player is doing is for good, which, to be fair, when we started was never the case.
No,
right? Like
at all.
But like, you pick up an enemy, at that point the enemy, you pick up a player, and the player thinks, wait, does he want me to grab that rupee up there? Does he want me to? Is he going to throw me up to the hearts?
You have no control over the situation. All I could do is spam no to tell you. So I
actually found a lot of that frustrating, but in like not in a I want to quit this game kind of way, but in like a man, this is. I wish there was a better. I wish there was more emojis to spam these guys with.
Wait,
but I'm wondering.
Hang on, your exact quote was, "I wish there were 2 emojis." What the hell, man?
Yeah,
and I hate Jose. Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm wondering if my experience and all of our experience differs because I know you guys so well, and I'm like, Jose is playing stubborn because he's stubborn, and Per's being a prankster because that's the way he is. He's being a troll because that's you're laughing right now.
It's surprisingly safe.
I was gonna be like, I gotta be the clean guy, you know.
Being very,
I'm the straight man in the group here.
So another moment I want to point out is there's this kind of minecart roller coaster sequence.
Before you move forward, we did eventually solve the box puzzle, and it was kind of fun when we finished it. All you saw was a bunch of thumbs up and pom-poms all over the place. I just want folks to hear that.
And even after you die, like sometimes you try to beat a boss and you die, and you have to redo the dungeon after you lose all your lives, and like when you then finally beat the boss, it's just like
it's satisfying.
It's
awesome.
Really satisfying. The emojis are flying.
I don't want people to think we just had a horrible time because we didn't. We actually had a pretty good time.
I don't think that. I don't even think that's what's coming off from the story at all. Like we had that. I haven't really felt this since playing New Super Mario Brothers the first time, where you're like, we are working together, but we are also fighting each other over things. And I think the way this differs is that we share health. So you can be a troll, but ultimately it's going to be to your own deficit because you're going to be killing yourself off.
The emote troll.
Yeah, and I think it's like that's the other thing. Spamming the emotes was so much fun. Like, and especially doing them the wrong way, or every time like something good or bad happened, just being like pom 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 pom, yes, pom 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 pom, and you would see them blow up on the screen. And every single time one of us would accomplish something, all 3 of us would be like, yeah, we'll start spamming.
And it's even better. The thumbs up goes. And actually has a little like Peer Gynt music melody in it when you spam it really fast.
But what was your second story?
No, so the second thing was the roller coaster, the minecart, right? There are multiple kind of stages like that, and one you're on this thing, it goes in circles. The boomerang guys have to hit a switch.
No, actually the arrow can hit the switch too. Yeah, you did hit the switch at one point. You didn't know. I checked in single player. You can hit the switch.
Okay, well it seemed like
you blamed us for it, and you did.
I kept on waiting for you guys to hit that damn switch, and you guys kept on missing.
Well, and
you like, I kept on going, item, no, item, no, item, no.
Or there was.
And we were like, no.
Yeah, it was a Queen video.
Yeah, it's like Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, but there was a totem. Item. Just listen to me. Like, it was so funny.
I am not lying to you. There were multiple times where I was about to pick up my phone and call you guys and be like, pick up the thing and shoot the thing on the wall. I was so ready to scream at you guys over this.
We fought today we fought a boss locally. This time talking to each other. It was a ton of fun. I think the funniest part to me in boss fights is when the boss stacks up to a second layer or a third layer.
Yeah.
Because at that point, picking people up in that game is really the Zelda Triforce Heroes trust fall.
Yeah.
Like, you have to trust them, and you said this a little bit earlier, but you have to. If that person on the other side doesn't have your best intentions or is just going to throw you off the stage and troll, it kind of ruins the experience, for lack of a better way to say it. But the game is so well designed on the puzzle front that it feels like someone always has a job to do, especially in stages where everyone has a different item.
Yeah.
When we all have the same one, it's not quite as fun.
No.
But when you get to the later stuff where, like, you have the Gust Jar, which, by the way, was hilarious that you ended up with that. Because Sarah and I grabbed the boomerang and the arrows.
I'm gonna call it right now. The Gust Jar is going to be the least wanted item in this game, and I could tell because every time a level opened up, it was like, oh, you can get the arrows, you can get the bombs.
We would dash.
Gust Jar, it was like going to the supermarket in The Walking Dead. You're like, oh, this is being picked clean. There's nothing left for me here.
It was really funny. Like, we both, Jose and I both dashed to the weapons, grabbed them, and then you came and you saw it was only the Gust Jar.
And I just hit the no button. I was just like, no.
Yeah. We also we played with friend of the show Jeremy Parrish as well before we had played online with Brian, and had a similar experience where everyone rushed to grab something. Also, we found out that I had the bomb suit, and so when you have the bomb suit made, whenever you touch another bomb, it doubles in size, but it also doubles the explosion. But you can kill your friends by accident. So if I throw that bomb in an area and someone doesn't get clear, and Jeremy made the mistake of picking the bare minimum, so he was losing 2 hearts every time he got hit.
See, but this is the problem because my favorite suit, because I really like playing with the arrows, was the Kokiri suit, which gives you the classic triple arrow, right? Which is an old upgrade for arrows in Link Between Worlds and Link to the Past. So I would come in with this Kokiri suit being like, I can't wait to get that arrow and shoot 3 of them. And they were like, nah, man, you get the windbag. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, and that's a problem too because, so if you pick up an item and someone has your item, I don't know if there's a way to negotiate right now. Like, there doesn't seem to be. But that person, if they grab another item, they put the other one down. Yes. So you can switch, but once all 3 items have been picked up, everyone is stuck with them.
They are stuck with them.
So if you came prepared with a certain outfit and someone beat you to the hammer, let's say, SOL is the problem, and that's a shame.
And it becomes a little bit of a trust game. And my one criticism, it's the same with Splatoon, is that they don't give you a good look at the loadouts in advance, right? Like, you want to start the level, and I want to go, oh no, maybe Brian is going to pick this other thing. It sometimes goes really fast, and everybody's got the same.
Well, you see the items in the stage, but what you're saying is in the build up to it, you can't be like, dibs. Like, give me this one, please, because I'm going to bring this out.
Well, how about this? As responsible adults, we can have a conversation right now. How about the next time we play, we walk into this area, and there's 3 items all in a row.
Let them have the Gust
Why don't
Jar.
we just kind of space it out a little bit and walk up and kind of stand near one, maybe swing our sword a little bit. Someone can say yes or no.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
That sounds awful.
Okay, that's because yeah. What you're gonna do is just run up there and leave me with the
no, you get the win.
You can have the Gust Jar.
No. The best thing about Gust Jar is that I can shoot you guys across the room.
We have not talked about though the white elephant in the room, the lag. We did experience lag last night.
We did.
Local and online.
Local and online. Locally, I know that I've seen cases and with Smash 3DS where local Wi-Fi or something, you start to get some lag between the players. In download play, we had a little bit of it. Online, we had a little bit of it, and it's a little disturbing. It could be just the way Nintendo sets up their online. This seems to be peer-to-peer. This doesn't seem to be a dedicated server.
Yeah, it was interesting because we played 2 rounds, 3 rounds together last night. And
the first one was laggy.
The second one was the first half was a complete slideshow, and then it cleaned up. And then the third one was almost went off without a hiccup.
Yeah, it was perfect.
So I don't know what the factors were. I was asking Jose this morning, if he had something else going on in his apartment.
We did. Francisco was playing Destiny in the other room. At one point, we were both online. on our devices.
Yeah, I mean, well,
your wife was watching.
She was like
something.
streaming Netflix in the background or something.
It makes you wonder if that
my
was
kids are
pumping.
always running 9 instances of Minecraft at the same time.
Okay, so I wonder, can we try a controlled setting where we just tell everyone, hey, don't touch this for the next 20 minutes while we play these 2 stages?
Yeah, look, in our office we certainly get some Wi-Fi interference, right?
A ton.
As well. I did download play at home and got some lag as well.
Interesting.
Where I have 2 networks, like an 802.11n1.
That GM guap.
No, you gotta
2 different service providers
with 3 kids. You gotta have multiple networks.
You downloaded an update to your car that means it can drive you home.
Not quite on the freeway. We'll see
Soon.
if that works.
We'll see. All right.
There's
Fancy
a firmware
guap.
update.
Okay,
Really?
Yeah.
He did. All right, so let's move forward then.
That's awesome.
We'll see. I don't think it's gonna work quite as
He's
well
scared
as
to hit
people
the button.
say it.
He doesn't know what's going to happen.
I'm scared.
Wow.
I would be scared too.